And hello everyone, and welcome to my stream. I am Commander Yannick, and as the title so lovely telling you, we are here at the Nav Beacon in this anarchy system, which is a prime place for some lovely sort of PvE harassing of people with lasers and multi-cannons. Now, obviously I was doing some of this yesterday. It seems like a sort of good place to start off. As you know, there is a rough sort of, tendency I have with a lot of these videos to actually leave off at the end of one and start in a similar, if not the same place as the previous one. And that's not a bad thing, really. I mean, it can be good fun. Now, because we're in a lawless system, everyone's technically okay, so, yeah, slightly naughty, but I'm going to sort of go around pew-pewing these ships anyway. It's all sort of PvE fun one way or the other, so all good, really, all good. Plan is really to do this for a while, and then afterwards go on, start a separate adventure, really, that isn't really sort of, PvE combat. But obviously everyone knows today is the Odyssey Alpha Phase 2 release. Now, potentially, I think it should have started the download about now, but when I last looked it hadn't. So, instead of spending ages actually waiting around for it to begin and not knowing how long it's going to take to download, I thought it would be a better use of my and everyone else's time to actually do an Elite stream and then sort that out later, because, I mean, who knows how long I could be here waiting for hours for it to download, and then it might not work properly when it get there. So I just think it'd be easier, all things considered, to wait till tomorrow and actually download the thing under fairly sort of normal circumstances, and then try and see what I can make of it, and hopefully get it to work well enough to stream. That would be a nice thing. Let's destroy another one and then pick up some materials. Okay, Python this time. Juicy Python. Mr. Python, hello. You're going to die. Yes, yes, yes. I'm a bit rusty today, aren't I? And a ram in as well, that would be fun. Ah, come back, I want to ram you. Oh, come here, Mr. Python, I wish to ram you. Or at least destroy you, anyway. The ramming part's just fun if you can get away. The bigger ships more likely, because they're just less manoeuvrable. And they're more of a candidate to be rammed in the first place. Yeah. And part of my excuse is that I am playing with only a gamepad, so it's not... And not exactly a high, not sophisticated one either, it's fairly primitive, but it will suffice. This is not exactly a PvP or PvE setup, really, as far as my controls are going. I do have joysticks, but oh, he's gone off. Yeah, I do have joysticks, but both of those have problems with them. Like certain buttons don't work, so part of the reason I shifted to gamepad for a while. At least all the gamepad buttons do work. Oh, he's run away. What a shame. Oh dear. Nonetheless, let's go and collect some lovely materials. Ah, here we go. Lovely light show that it is. The thing is, the game also the fireworks, or firework-looking things of the limpets, and you've also got the chaff dispensers. That's it's a pretty good fireworks display as well. There's been some shooting up here as well. I'll just keep cruising around at this sort of fairly nominal speed and let the limpets catch up with me. As you do. What's it got? Yeah, fairly bog standard equipment, really. Okay. Right, let's go toward the target and see what happens. Actually, let's pause for a second while we let the limpets catch up. And when they do, on with the show. On with the firework display. Yeah. It's a good day to be shot out of the sky. But yeah, I have a suspicion that a lot of other streamers who've got either better internet connections than me or better machinery may be able to download this game much quicker. Sorry, this game, I mean the alpha update, much quicker than I can. So yeah, it's best to leave the sort of, you know, as soon as it comes out mode to them, and I will do it whenever I can. I hope to enjoy it at some point, though. It'd be very silly if I didn't. I say so far it's not been easy to get it to work properly on my machine. But I'm hoping that problem will be fixed as optimization increases. I mean, this new update is going to, phase 2 of the alpha is going to be increasing the bubble that we can fly within to actually a 20 light year radius. Now you can actually buy a ship. Well, actually you get given a ship, which is Cobra Mark III, which is a nice good all-rounder. The classic lines of the Cobra Mark III, the only ship to be, I think, in every single version of Elite. Actually, technically the Crate as well. This is the Crate Mark II, though, but as is in the exact mark and sort of general spec. Yeah, the Cobra Mark III has been in every single version of Elite without fail, and I suppose that's why it's considered the classic Elite ship. Yeah. These ones are a bit further out. I could speed up, but as I said, this is more sort of a casual sort of killing spree within Elite rather than a specifically organised one to just see who shows up, really. Let's fly towards the Nav Beacon again and see what other people are hanging around. Yeah, I've got the cargo scoop out at the moment, I know, but actually I'll withdraw it for a second and get some combat speed up. Ah, a vulture. Slightly better armed prey. Yeah, let's intercept him. Let's have some fun with this one. See if I can get him before he actually gets away. Always try to plot intercept course as best you can. Get them within good range and open up. This particular setup would not be good for fixed weapons. Gimbal is really the only realistic option I have here. I mean, yeah, hypothetically I know I could use turrets, but yeah, they're just not so powerful. Oh, he was a remarkably quick killer actually for a vulture. I thought he was going to be a bit better armed than he actually was. Hey ho. Here we go. Right, okay. Nice. You're going to go as well. Ah, great. I smashed him straight in the face. Oh, and as a result, the ram killed him. Wow. That was good. Well done. Here we are. More cratey goodness. Good ship, generally. It can be a very good combat ship if you, with the correct loader. Yeah, the Lipids are still out there doing their thing. Ah, it gets around. It's useful when you can, which is kind of fun when you can. I'm not going to go as far as the cutters who just ram people to death because they can, you know. I mean, yeah, you can do that. A little bit of ramming in combat's kind of useful. It's reminding me of the young ones, you know. Come on, I want to kill you. Vivian and his friends, they were just so funny. Those who haven't seen the young ones, it's old school British comedy from like the early 1980s about a bunch of students in a sort of rundown accommodation. It's quite surreal, really. It's kind of like, it's a weird combination of surreal and slapstick comedy at the same time. Not obvious at all, but it's really well done. Made by the BBC between like 82 and 84, I think. It's online somewhere. I think it's probably on YouTube at the moment. But yeah, well worth seeing if you can find it. not for the faint of heart. It's one of those comedies that I think, even at its time, was considered a bit edgy. Yeah, it's quite a sort of dark sense of humour as well. Okay, right. I've got a whole wing now, yay! I don't know if I'm going to win against them, but if I can, I will. Right, let's... These wings do vary enormously in competency. Some of them can be quite well coordinated, quite deadly. Talking about the AI of the NPCs, of course. It disappears largely. I'll just keep doing my thing. I'll just keep going. The irony with my cargo scoop down, I'm actually not moving very fast. But I suppose just the sheer firepower of this Corvette does tend to deal with NPCs pretty rapidly. I know this is a bit of a turkey shoot, really, but this is not exactly masterclass in PvE. It's not supposed to be, but this is supposed to be fun. Yeah, this is like farming for materials, but as more fun than normal material farming. So that's really the idea behind it, actually. So, yeah. Material farming plus. Ah, what else do we have here? Out for a nice Sunday drive? Yes. Well, the equivalent in space, anyway, a Sunday fly through. Yep, okay, good. So you have chosen annihilation. Actually, you haven't chosen anything, to be fair to you, but... Okay. Face on the Cobra's relatively small target in terms of surface area. Okay, what's the nearest target viable to me? It's always with PvE ships, it's just concentrating the fire, isn't it? I suppose the PvP is the same as well, but in that regard. Really, it's different in most other respects. Person making all the decisions rather than an AI. It's a remarkable skill level of the top level PvP pilots, which I can't claim to be anywhere near. But yeah, even the irritating ones are very skilled. So yeah, respect for the pilots. I don't always like their other antics, but that's a whole other discussion. Right, I think it's the last one in that way. Keen to get bonus points for wiping out the same one. Okay. I think I'll sit still for a little bit while I pick up all these various materials. Yeah, I just want to just sit here and maybe destroy this one from a distance. The lazy side of combat, sitting completely still. Yeah, he's near the edge of effective range for this one. Ah, that's better. Now we're getting closer, coming towards me. And, you have also natural device. Explodes into a cloud of useful materials for me. Thank you. Your donation is much appreciated. Right. Let's go to external review and see what we can see. It's always an exclusively interesting sight, a warming sight to see all these little limpets doing their jobs. They're collecting fragments of minerals and metals from a ring somewhere, or they're taking bits of a ship you've just blown up and giving them to you. Yes. Yeah, that's nice. Another dud, eh? Well, you can call me that if you want. The ship cost a pretty penny, I can tell you. Ah, he's nowhere near. Out of range. If I had long range engineering on this, I could probably snipe him from the distance, but I don't have that on this particular vessel. If I'm honest, I have tried long range modifications to multi-cannons. They were interesting, but PV purposes they didn't seem that useful. That's what I gather they are most useful for PvP environments. Now, some people do like, the long range sniper sort of technique, which is understandable. It's one way of doing it, certainly. Yeah. Oh, there's a conduit in the distance. You often spot this sort of, combat PvP, PvE ships, NPCs, because, they've got aggressive names, I don't think I've ever been attacked by someone with a nice name in the game. Okay. Harpy. Looks like he might be in for an interesting time. I think I will investigate. Maybe I'll ram him. Okay. Yeah, this might be more problematic as maybe not. Good contact. I should get points for ramming as well. Points out of 10 to start. Definitely get more for a ram. This isn't a particularly well armed combat by general standards. It just exists. I'll fly after this one. Yeah, and I know there's various techniques I can also use, including, FA off sort of bursts and what have you, which I may use, but at the moment, this is very like a casual combat scenario. I'm not really doing it in a serious sense. If I was seriously threatened by any of these, I probably would start doing them. Got the collectors out. Collector limpets. And let my shield regenerate for a bit as well. See, I'm not really going full PV at the moment because I don't actually have any shield boosters on me. This is more of like a general setup ship. The weaponry's not bad. The shields are pretty decent. Beyond that, though, they say there's no actual. There's a couple of shield, the shield boosters, but there's no shield cell banks. That's what I was thinking about. I was too busy looking where the targets might be. Not a target-rich environment ahead. Yeah, I'll stop for a second while they catch up. But yes, it's if I was going for a full PV load, obviously I would have the shield cell banks. Had more boosters than I've got. How many boosters do I have at the moment? That's actually a good question. Yeah, I have some. I know that. Since it's too high a priority. Shield generator probably as well. Yeah. Prismatic 7A. So I have got. Yeah, I do have a few shield boosters. They're not the best ones though. They're all right. Yeah, really only things like life support and thruster should ever be priority 1.
Scan detected.
Yeah, not quite sure. I didn't set the priorities for these correctly last time. Yeah, never set any miner system to a high priority, because if you ever get a power failure, or power reduction. Let's say your drive malfunction, you're 50% power. You want the basics like life support, thrusters, FSD not to die on you. Everything else you can kind of jiggle the system power around a bit. Juggle the system power around a bit, so until you get what you want. In the meantime, like the rest of this is like it doesn't matter. Guardian FSD booster is like it's nice, but it's not critical. So yeah. Right. And onwards I go. I was going to say into the unknown, but I'm not in deep space at the moment, so it would be kind of a lie to say that I was. Yeah, this is not really the unknown, this is the very much known areas of space. Yeah, I suppose things could be unknown to you personally, but that's a different kettle of fish. These are all distant, that's why I'm getting very little impact. Yeah, my shield needs regenerating. I make queue of a particular run after these small ships are destroyed. Yeah, exactly. It's a wing of adders. You don't see that too often. Wing of just adders alone. Okay. Lovely scooped materials. Oh, there can be more collector limpets out there. Local impossible. It's like, you're in an adder. Your destruction is far from impossible. Actually, it's very, very probable. I mean, yeah, it's a bit like going out there on, like, I don't know, a high-level moped, I suppose. That's like the space equivalent of it. If like if a Sidewinder is the equivalent of, I don't know, those sort of small Italian motor scooters. And then this is like more, and you've got adders more like, I don't know, like having like a Honda scooter is a bit more powerful than the Italian one, but it's still a scooter. Still a very small craft, and in spacecraft in this case, the adder, and yeah, it's generally, it's not very powerful and it's pretty vulnerable. Yeah, and you could get harmed pretty easily. Yeah, I'll just try to kill back when it's in range. Get the axis of attack right, I might do better. I am kind of more or less stationary, which I probably shouldn't be. Haha. Nice. Temperature may be critical, but it's not anymore. Comes down pretty quickly. Shall I attack him with my weak shields? I'll probably be fine, but yeah, I'll slow down for the limpets. Henry O'Hare. It's quite funny as the whatever CD75 whatever values party. If you got that as your main name, then you as a rule of thumb, you probably don't have that much in the way of values. So the old saying about hollow vessels make the most noise. Not always the case, but it often is. Getting a little bit too philosophical or political there for a second. Probably. Depends how you look at it, really. Like most things in life, it's often about perspective. Especially when it comes to philosophy. Okay. Yeah, if I can get to him, I will. It's definitely on the right trajectory. And why not? Ooh, I wanted to ram you, but you got away. Yeah, I could target modules, I know. It's, let's say, yeah, I'm actually kind of getting into the point where my shields are weakening a bit. Come on, I want to ram you. I have to take you damage for this. Ah, yes. And bingo. Right, unfortunately my shield is now gone. I have to withdraw as soon as I possibly can. Yeah, he's gone. I'm probably going to have to take these out and I should be fine. I've run out of ammo, so I'm going to stop anymore. I will have to probably withdraw very shortly if I don't want to get destroyed. Pretty well armored gun. I think some of it was I was running out of ammo too. Yeah. Lazy PV continues. Yeah, that was a bit more like it. Okay, I think I am going to withdraw to repair, rearm, regroup, etc. Well, actually, I'm going to take the last of the materials before I do anything else. Let the shield rebuild itself as it does. And look for a place to rearm. I could synth it all, I suppose. See what else is in the system. Yeah, I'll probably just go here to rearm. Yeah, a system with only one fleet carrier called the Doghouse. Don't think that's the SDC one, is it? Private enterprise. Yeah, I'm not familiar with that one. I'm not saying it's the SDC one for sure. I just wasn't sure either way. They're not really that active in the game these days, as far as I have heard. The Smiling Dog Crew, for those of you who aren't aware of them, are a somewhat aggressive PvP faction. Group, whatever you wish to call them. Once very famous in Elite, actually. One of their number, Commander Harry Potter killed Salome during the whole Salome Druega, FDev event of that, and that was obviously part of the whole event, that the Salome character was there to be shot at, either protected or killed, depending on which side you're in, and Potter managed to kill her. But yeah, him and SDC were particularly famous around that period of time. And then sometime later, I was also assassinated in the game by Harry Potter. So it's like, well, yeah. It's not really surprising. I was quite a big target at the time, and I still am to some degree. Yes, that's the thing, isn't it? It's like if you're known in any capacity, which I kind of am within Elite, yeah, you are bound to be a target of some gankers, because like, ooh, he's generally quite well. No, let's destroy him. Which is, I understand the mentality behind it. It's like, I think a lot of SDC was about creating headlines as well. And they're very skilled pilots, I don't doubt that for a second. Definitely one of the best you know, PvP combat groups out there. The difference in them and a lot of others is that they always tended to sort of seek, you know, as much attention as possible from the community and even in the gaming press. I think Potter himself was actually interviewed by a couple of gaming mags. I think it was to do with the son of a storyline and event too. So yeah, big news for definitely a period of time anyway. Not even sure how the SDC people even play Elite that much anymore. Last I heard they were playing Sea of Thieves, but yeah, maybe it is that. Maybe it is a sort of past thing. But say I haven't heard hide nor hear of them for quite a while. Yep, no validation. Okay, cool. Looks like all the liquids are in. I'll get underway. Kirkdock, right, that's where I'm going. Let the shield fully regenerate and then bingo. It doesn't matter, does it? I'll just do it as I'm going. And welcome to all of you who have just joined us. I am Commander Yannick, and we're just doing some lovely PvP combat around the Nav Beacon in this system. Yeah, this is Anarchy system within the bubble. And, oh yes, I forgot to retract my hard points. Yeah. And, yeah, just funny, as I described it before, this is basically the best way, most fun way to farm a lot of materials for ship destruction. But especially if they're wanted. I mean, this system, you know, it isn't illegal to destroy an unwanted spacecraft, but generally speaking, I don't go around hitting anything that isn't wanted. Most systems will get you at least a bounty, if not actually hunted down by the system security. But here, there isn't any of that. Hence, it's an anarchy system. I always wondered, you know, it says like at the bottom of the screen there, shipping lane, how wide the shipping lanes actually are. I think they're not that wide in each system. They're very easily left, but it's an interesting sort of footnote almost. Yeah, because space is massive. I mean, even within the star system, the sort of, you know, cubic size of volume size of space is absolutely astounding. You know, hence we always use the term astronomical when we talk about very big numbers, because space is big. As my introduction to this stream alludes to. You think it's a long way down to the chemist, but that's absolutely peanuts compared to space. Famously from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which no doubt a lot of you are probably familiar with, or at least have heard of, you know. If not, it's a great TV series and film. The film's a little bit different from the TV series, and because I think it was a book, then it was a radio play, then it was a TV series. I think the radio play and the TV series are very similar because they have some of the same people involved. But yeah, Douglas Adams was unfortunately dead by the time they actually made the film, so he didn't really have any direct input into it other than, you know, what he'd left behind. And, you know, it's still good. I still liked it, the film. I just didn't like it quite as much as the TV series. I know Douglas Adams at one point, I think he was actually a script editor for Doctor Who back in the day. This was like the very late 70s, early 80s. I think it was like right at the end of the Tom Baker era. Funnily enough, that actually was the pinnacle of Doctor Who's viewership in the UK, live viewership that is. It literally was one of the most popular TV programs of that era. I think in like the Tom Baker era it peaked at about something ludicrous, like about 20 million viewers per episode, and this is a time when the UK population was only about 50 million, so like almost, you know, like almost everyone who had a TV was watching it pretty much, or almost every household was watching it to some degree. It was quite amazing, really. I mean, for a sci-fi show, that's like a hell of an audience in any era, especially now. But yeah, Douglas Adams had a good pedigree, and then obviously he put Hitchhikers out afterwards under his own name, and it's wonderful. It really is. I mean, it's always difficult to sort of blend sci-fi and comedy well together, but certain people do it. Obviously him, the Red Dwarf people, Rob Grant, Doug Naylor, the originators of that show. There's a few of them out there. Red Dwarf being probably the most famous and long-running of that. But yeah, I'd recommend Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy if you've not seen it. Well worth a look. I know there's quite a lot of people in the community who are fans of it already, and also fans of Red Dwarf. And yeah, Red Dwarf's always been a classic comedy. Okay, here we are. Refuel, repair, restock. Yeah. Thank you, Controller. I will enjoy my stay at this wonderful facility. It's interesting the little differences between the different stations in the interiors. Obviously, depending on what the system type is and what the local economy is. I mean, this one, you look outside, it's there's some different, look like sort of a greenhouse with various plants in it. So that looks quite. Yeah, it's unsurprising really if you have an agrarian economy that would be the case, actually in space, especially on like that centrifugal kind of centripetal gravity. I wonder how plants would actually grow differently, if at all. It's an interesting question. I think in real life no one's actually tried that yet because no one's done an experiment on that kind of scale. I'd love to know that. It'd be genuinely interesting to find that out. Right, let's fix up the ship, repair the paintwork, and the ship integrity. Shall I give myself any more limpets, or do I have enough? Yeah, I've used quite a few. I'm probably alright for now. Yeah, that should be fine. Probably. Ah, cool. Right, here we are. The universal cartographics that I need to sell. There's usually a little bit somewhere. It tends to be a lot. Oh, actually, I have nothing for the first time in ages. That's absolutely fine. Right. Remind myself what my loadout is for this one, because I say it's a very good all-round, like, general purpose ship anyway. Yeah, the Federal Corvette. And it's a very big one, but it's still a very good all-purpose ship. You can do most things, you say, especially with the Guardian FSD booster giving you sort of the possibility of making it into an Explorer. Yeah, it's perfectly usable for all those things. And this one is like in a general kind of service configuration at the moment. Now, my internals, okay. Consider fitting this out for other activities, like going to explore down on planets possibly, which we might do in the very, very near future. But yeah, I might do some more engineering on the modules on this possibly to improve. There's always something that you can do. The power plant can always be improved. Like this one, it could be improved a little bit further. I need to work on that one. I think the thrusters are pretty good though. I mean, I can't complain. Yeah, these are pretty much maxed out drag drives, so you know, you don't really get much better in terms of thruster modifications. That's about as good as they get. The frame shift drive, it's in a good state. Yeah, it's got the full grade 5 modification. Optimized mass for a class 6 is yeah, that's very high. That's very good. Can't complain there. Distributor. Now the distributor on the other hand, depending on what you want it for, the high charge capacity is, let's say it's supposed to be an all-round ship, this one. So the high charge one is actually good for most things. You see is the increased capacitor sort of capacity so that you can hold more charge within it. You see the recharge rate tends to go down when that happens. As you can see here, like for every category, the capacity of storage is increased, energy storage is increased, but the recharge rate is a little bit slower. So it swings and roundabouts, really. You gain something, you lose something. But yeah, I mean, a lot of these are quite heavily engineered. As you see, this is like a grade 5 engineered one. Surprisingly, I've been around in the game for quite a while, so it's not really surprising that I've got some bits of engineering that are a pretty high level. This is not a high level piece of engineering on the hand, but just as I was saying recently about even the grade 1 modifications can be very useful. For example, on this ship, you know, I've saved 32 tons of mass from the sensors just by making them lighter weight, and then it gives a slightly more agility to a ship, and also helps reduce the mass for better jump range. And jump range is only 25 light years in this, but I say this is not exactly fitted out for exploration. It's just a sort of, you know, bubble in near space, jack of all trades of the ship, which I swap things in and out of as I need to, really, you know. Yeah, sensors and life support are both. See, that's the sensors for that. Life support is also modified slightly more. It's only category 3, a grade 3 modification. But look at the mass save, though. I mean, 65%. That's quite a lot. So it's well worth all these little changes. So the only annoying part is that you have to go on these sort of side quests, as it were, to get your materials and then get to the engineer. But you know, once you have them, it's all fine. Even the hull itself can be modified. I got the military grade composite here, and I've modified that with heavy duty armor. So the idea is that once my shield fails, it gives me enough time at least to get away. So even without the shield, I'm still not going to die instantly. I mean, yeah, there are probably PvP weapons out there that could actually total the ship pretty quickly. But then again, those same weapons can probably total virtually any ship quickly enough if they can keep hitting it. Downside with this ship is that it is such a big ship, it's a big target as well. Same with the Anaconda and the Cutter. Any large ship is a big target. Just goes without saying, really, doesn't it? So yeah, I think that's part of the reason things like, you know, Ferdinands are such popular combat ships. They're not small, but they're large enough to be powerful, but at the same time they're actually quite fast and pretty agile. So there's a good sort of balance point between you know, being small enough to not be a target and also being agile and powerful enough to really, you know, be able to hit your opponents hard and as quickly as you can. Yeah, this is a slightly weird situation. I think at the time I couldn't find A boosters for whatever reason with the place I was in, and ended up using Bs and modifying them, which I wouldn't normally have done. I'd usually modified As, but for whatever reason I did that. I think I also collected these shield boosters off of different ships that I had at the time. It wasn't actually engineered with this particular ship in mind, but this is where I am and this is what it is. So yeah, the delivery's not bad. I might change that potentially. I don't think for this one I have the kits on it. Pretty sure I don't actually. I'll deal with that later then. Yeah, the paint job. I like the vibrant red. I haven't got all of these, but I say that's extra money for Frontier developments, which I don't mind. Yeah, paying for these. You can't buy them directly anymore. You've got to buy arcs instead. And see the top right-hand corner. My arcs 12,000 at the moment. And you can buy like different paint packs worth different amounts of arcs. But you say you buy the arcs is like an in-game currency, and like this one, the onion head. That's quite fun looking. 3,000. See the onion head. That's what the ship would look like with the onion head paint job on it. Luminous onion head. Nice. I like the way it's got like around the cockpit as well. You see in the middle. It's pretty nice actually. Oh yes. And then we've got the sort of other fancy ones down here. Yeah, some of these are nice. I'm not sure about that one. That's okay. Don't mind that. Some of the sort of metallic ones are quite interesting. Yeah, I'm not particularly bothered at the moment about buying any new ones. Yeah, I quite like the red one that I've got, but yeah, they're nice. They're not bad. Maybe some in the future I might. The synth one looks pretty cool. It's kind of a bit more subtle than some of them. Corvette synth red. Yeah, those aren't bad at all. Still, yeah, obviously you can customize your weapon and engine colors. Customizing the trails are quite nice because obviously you see those all the time, no matter what you're doing. So yeah, they're cool. This one's cyan, so yeah, it's a nice color. I like something that's quite vibrant. But yeah, the next part of the adventure, I think I'll go back to the crate Phantom that I was using recently. We're not too far from Shinra to Desra anyway, so I'm going to stop in there, probably use that. I could switch to another ship actually. That might be wise. Yeah, I think I will. I'll have a look anyway. Yeah, Shinra to Desra. Got most of my ships here. Yeah, I'll probably switch to the crate Phantom. I'll decide till I get that. I could use that or the courier. Both would be quite good for these sort of. I tend to land on a planet in the rest of this stream, so that should be fine. Yeah, I could potentially have put a small hangar on this for an SRV, but I think I'll leave it for now. I'll keep this in the same configuration as it presently is, and then use one of my Explorer or little racing ships to do that. The courier is pretty good in that regard because it's like a nimble Explorer if you fit it out right. Because especially with the Guardian FSD booster, it can get like quite a reasonable jump range for exploring, and then also have enough space to have, you know, maybe 2 SRVs in our hangar there. So yeah, you've got a good amount of exploration potential, and it's still very agile. Assuming you fit it out with powerful, dirty drives, and yeah, it could be like a racing ship or racing ship stroke explorer, you know. Or just an agile explorer. I think the FSD booster has allowed various ships to... What's the autopilot doing? It's crashing into the side. That was a bit weird. Naughty autopilot. It's kind of losing its mind. Unless another ship crashed into me, which I didn't see, but that may actually have happened. Huh. Oh, not to worry. Onwards I go. And here we are. It's only a couple of jumps, I think, to Shinra to Desra from here. Yeah, that's correct. Nothing in the bubble's that far away from anything else, unless you've got like a 10-year light range, which is a problem, but most ships usually have more than that, so that's not usually that hard. Yeah, I would recommend for anyone starting out definitely to collect a few materials, and because unlocking like the grade 1 of engineers is not difficult, and it's, so you can get significant improvements just like that. That early sort of grade 1, grade 2 is very accessible, and again the material's very common and not not hard in the slightest. Yeah, so lots of good exploration guides out there that will help you. Yeah, there's certain good ones. I could probably link them in the future, but so Down to Earth Astronomy does some very good informative videos like that. I think Obsidian Ant sometimes done the odd one in the past as well. He's done more commentary recently, but back in the day he did some quite good videos about various aspects of the game. But, I think Down to Earth Astronomy is better known for his for his like more sort of tutorial type videos, and they're excellent. I do recommend his channel. I think he's primarily a YouTuber who happens to stream on Twitch from time to time, but yeah, he's mostly a YouTube video maker. Shirata does. home of the Pilots Federation once more. Yeah, you'll see a lot of people doing this as like a lot of people once they reach the elite, like have their ships all sort of parked at Jameson Memorial. There's a lot of streamers that see of going in and out of Jameson Memorial in this system. And like, yeah, because most of my ships are parked here, so you'll always see that. You'll always see some of the people coming here to switch ships, or actually, if they're going to get ships actually flown out to them by the NPCs, they will be flying them from here to wherever they may be. So, yeah, it's a place that I do. Especially, I'm in the FleetCon private group at the moment, which is an exploration-centered private group. But in here at Jameson Memorial Station, I do frequently see other players that I know, or at least seen in the past, from somewhere or the other. It's a common meeting spot away from point of congestion within the Elite Galaxy. Excuse me. Yeah, I mean, in some ways you do wonder if this is like the second most powerful planet, maybe third after sort of, Earth and Capitol in Achino, the home of the Empire. Some argue this is actually more important than either, but it's an interesting and often asked question. Because the Pilots Federation is considered a little bit of a shadowy organisation. At least by elite lore, anyway. It's quite close to dropping out of Super Cruise now. It's sort of dust cloud-looking thing. There's another ship ahead of me in Super Cruise. That's now left the vicinity. It's these little details that make elite, not just the big stuff. Big stuff's wonderful as well, but sometimes when they paid attention to little things like that, it's just, add extra sort of detail and richness to the universe. Yeah, as I say, it's like I do use a certain amount of automatics in Pilot, Super Cruise, etc. when I'm in the bubble, especially doing repetitive things. Super Cruise Assist I don't use as much as I do sort of auto dock. Only because I say a lot of the time I just can't be bothered to do this. I think like various people sort of like specialising in FA off and do FA off docking. It's always easier in a little ship though. If you've got a bigger ship, it's kind of more problematic. Just because trying to compensate with thrusters to various movements is more difficult because you've got a bigger mass there. It's more difficult to control. Especially once you get a big movement going on, it can be harder to control. The smaller ships, they tend to respond much more rapidly. Plus, another thing with the auto dock is that if something goes wrong, you won't get blamed personally. The computer's to blame. So, they can't blame you at all. Well, officer, it wasn't my fault. The computer was in control. If you use that in real life, that would be amazing. Obviously, there are those Teslas with auto drive. They tried to put full automatics in other cars as well, but those tests have usually gone wrong at some point and ended up crashing. I mean, auto drive is in like keeping on a highway or a motorway or an autobahn. Like a 3 or 4 lane sort of road is one thing if you're all doing like 50, 60, 70, 80 miles an hour or beyond. It's one thing, but driving around like regular twisty roads, it seems like the AI can't seem to cope so well with that. I think despite the speed, obviously, I think it's actually more simple dealing with either from like a dual carriageway, a 2-lane sort of road, all the way up to like a 4-lane or beyond. It's because people usually just stick to that one lane they're in most of the time. And they'll change around a little bit, but everyone's all going in the same direction. I suppose the AI has less to worry about, less to compute. Still, back to where I am and what I'm doing, as Yoda would always recommend. See, this is my courier, and it's got a reasonable FSD jump range of 33 light years fully loaded, and its boost speed 616 meters a second, which is pretty good still. It's a nice sort of balance. And with this, actually, it doesn't at present have an SRV bay to it. But I could add one. Might be worthwhile. The alternative is, I say, just going back to my trusty Crate Mark II Orion's Chariot. There's another one I've got here. It's a Crate Mark 1, the Nova Roma that I used on the Distant Worlds 2 expedition. This is also a good ship. Only 44 lighties. That version on Distant Worlds 2 I used had a 50 lighty range. I think I've swapped modules in and out of this a couple of times to use on different ships, so that's why it's not exactly the same. The configuration is more or less the same as it was on Distant Worlds, not 100% though. That's why I think the jump range is slightly less. I've added something to this, and I can't remember for the life of me what it is. And I've taken away something as well, but the basic. Anyway, the idea with this ship is supposed to be, for such a long expedition as Distant Worlds, to have a good jump range, and also square that with things like having an SRV bay and having a fighter bay at the same time. See, this is 4G vehicle hangar for SRVs, and also the 5D fighter hangar. So that was the idea. It's like one of the smaller ships, so the Crate Mark II, to be able to have a fighter bay. So yeah, I decided that was the best way to deal with it. And yeah, it's a good exploration ship. I could still see it's got Distant Worlds 3305. I mean, it's not the only ship of mine that's got the Distant Worlds decal on it, but it's the one that did actually go on the trip. So yeah, that's the one. Yeah, might take it out again in the future for something, but for now, I think I'll leave it as is. Now, Cernun's Voyager, another star ship for completely different reasons. This one is the one that I used on Apollo 11. This is basically Apollo 11 flagship, so yeah. Obviously, Distant Worlds 2, I was not the leader of that. I wasn't on the staff for it. I did actually have a minor starring role, though, in that one. I do mean minor, as in that there was like a sort of fighter battle involving supposedly the security protector sort of force of Distant Worlds versus the bandits, and I played a bandit. So, yeah. It was like very much a role-playing thing, and yeah, I played one of the bad guys in that, but at the same time, I was still flying on my main account as my sort of standard explorer thing, but my alternate account, I was using that as a sort of bandit type, so yeah. But that was fun in its own way. The bandit thing didn't last as long because I think it was difficult to get enough people to come out all the time for all these encounters, because there was a few of them. And yeah, it wasn't as consistently sort of well attended as one would have hoped, but yeah, sometimes that's what happens, with these big multiplayer events. But yeah, Cernun's Voyager was used on Apollo 11, and I might use it on Apollo 15, who knows? I haven't actually decided what my Apollo 15 ship is going to be yet, but I have until July to work that one out. But it's a good candidate. I mean, Apollo 15 is the sequel expedition to Apollo 11, so it would make sense if I used Cernun's Voyager. So yeah, again, the boost speed of this is actually pretty good. I mean, yeah, 639. This one is completely unchanged, actually, since Apollo 11. So yeah, it's a nice ship. I've always enjoyed that one. The Orca is a somewhat sort of underrated ship. It's very dragstery. It's very good in a straight line. It's not great at manoeuvring. Look at maneuverability rating, like 1 out of 10 on that. But yeah, it's very good in a straight line though. Very impressive acceleration. If you want to stay ahead of assassins, that's a very good ship to be in. Yeah. This is one that is useful. Scorpio. Now this is one that this was used way back on the Distant Stars expedition. Yeah. That was just before Mercury 7, but between Distant Worlds 1 and 2. But that was the one that went to the Cancri cluster. But at the time, only really Anacondas could go because they had the jump range. And this was like the very early days of neutron boosting as well. I think one person, managed to get a hauler to do it. I think it was Cola 2, the commander, but that was like right on the razor's edge of that ship's range, and how they actually got their ship to that point, I will never know, but they said that they were kind of shocked when it actually worked. I think a couple of other people managed to do in very stripped down Asp Explorers. This is like pre-Crate 2 era of Elite as well, so that wasn't an option. But most people, like myself, took Anacondas, and Scorpio is that ship. Okay, technically we had to, actually destroy the ships and suicide back to the bubble. Because at that point you couldn't return. There were no fleet carriers, so return from the Kanki cluster was impossible. You just had to self-destruct and leave. And that's what happened. There was like a mass self-destruct at the end to mark the finish of the expedition. But yeah, that was one. I worked as staff for the first time in the expedition. I worked for Dr. Kai when Dr. Kai was still involved with Eramis. And yeah, I was like a last-minute addition to be a wing leader for that one. I had the smallest wing because I was the last one to be added, and then I did my own first like organising expedition for my own banner about a month later for Mercury 7. So it was like one into the other. I got a little bit of experience on that before I started on under my own flag, as it were. And then all the ones I've done since, it's just kept going really from there. So yeah, all's well and good. And back to the present anyway. I've got a cutter for mining, hauler for just driving around for fun. Yeah, let's get this courier. Select it for fun. Actually, I've got all these limpets on my ship. I've got to get rid of those before I do anything else. Haha. I did forget about that. Yeah, it will never allow you to change ship unless it's also got a cargo bay for the same amount of stuff. Those limpets cannot be easily got rid of, so I will just have to sell them back. And then switch ships. Right, here we go. Imperial Courier. Yes, please. I think towards the end of the stream I might check on to see if anyone else has managed to download the new update for Phase 2 of Odyssey Alpha. I expect someone probably has already, someone who's got a good system, and yeah, someone who can actually download everything pretty rapidly. I mean, it depends on you. This is the thing, another thing, it's not just your machine, it's your internet connection as well, isn't it? As we all know, it's like, you move around to different areas in different countries, and in the same country, you can have completely different broadband speeds, and the reliability of that connection is kind of key as well. But then again, you still can't factor in all the various internetworking between your local network hubs and the distant ones. So it's it's not always predictable, is it? I mean, I've friends of mine in Canada who like downloaded it in the alpha initially in like about 20 minutes or something or less, and I was there sitting for like 4 hours trying to get it to work and download properly. It did on the same day. I mean, so I'm thankful for that at least. Anyway, it didn't take insanely long. Took a while though. But anyway, I will try and fit an SRV handler if it does not have it already. Like a banana, that doesn't it? Looks somewhat like a banana with little wings on it. Yes, it's very empty. I think I just fitted it out for racing, to be honest. Maybe I'll put some other bits and pieces to it, but yeah, just seeing what other options exist for this one. Yeah. Planetary hangars, of course. Different kinds, the heavier or the lighter one, but the lighter one has bigger power draw. I tend to go for the lighter ones. As long as I've got the power to see, I still got a 30 light year range, even with it. So yeah, I like that. Can only fit one SRV. Then again, if you have an expedition with a fleet carrier nearby, you can always restock your SRVs if you lose it on that. So yeah, maybe I might add a booster to that as well, possibly. Recon limpets, refineries. Yeah, no, I'm thinking through what I could use alternatively. Yeah, a booster would be nice though, I think. Yeah, let's do that. Increase the range a little bit. Okay, so it's pretty good for you. Now, if you were to use this or go on exploring, yeah, it would be very nice. You only have one SRV. If you buy yourself, not attached to an expedition, probably be the case. But hang said, with the amount of DSSA carriers out in the galaxy, you're never really that far from a DSSA carrier. When I say that far, I mean you could be like 8,000, 10,000 light years from one, but I think as a rule of thumb, you shouldn't be any further than about 8 to 10,000 light years distant from any carrier at any point. Yeah, I've not done any kind of scientific measurement. I was just looking at the map the other day and just trying to kind of work it out. Because in theory, the DSSA carrier should be not just across the galaxy in 2 dimensions, but in 3. Like, especially towards the center of the galaxy, as the galaxy gets more dense and it gets higher as well. You've actually goes deeper too because of the globular sort of clusters at the center too. But just the main part of the galaxy in the core is actually quite high. So at that point, you'll probably have several like DSSA carriers sort of stacked from the lowest to the highest points of the galaxy. Obviously, at the edges, you only really need one if it's sort of each sort of major area, because the whole thing is kind of quite spread out by this point. So coverage is sort of easier for fewer carriers. But yeah, it's this either very sort of nominal sort of shield generator here, but that's just sort of bumping into things by accident, isn't it? It's not really supposed to fight off any serious assault, but it's still got a good jump range. Got my SRV, got my FSD booster, class 2 power plant, got some nice modded thrusters. Yeah, these are good drag drives. These are the top of the line ones. Dirty drive, and drag drive is basically like the extra modification that you can get. It's a further generation of heat, but the boost is that you get so much greater performance out of them. Always take into account because different ships have different heat generation, some more than others. Some are relatively cool, like Diamondbacks are always run very cool. Sometimes used as stealth ships, I should say, for those reasons. Yeah. It's all good though. It's all good. I've not actually, if you notice, actually modified everything here. The power distributor, I have not engineered that, but let's say this is not being something I worked on extensively. I've just had a fairly sort of nominal run. I'm going to put some point defenses because that's always useful. It's all kinds of people and things trying to shoot at you, so it's always wise to have one. Maybe I'll take an extra scanner of some kind with me, possibly. It's not really critical, to be honest. Having said that, they got the Xeno scanner and the shutdown field neutralizer. So yeah, so I was alluding to before. I've taken those on expeditions, definitely. It's unlikely you'll have Thargoid content, but you never know. It might happen. Still, that's not the business of today. Back to the present. I might change the paint scheme on this. I mean, I like the banana yellow, but it's not quite as great. Midnight black, on the other hand. I might go for that instead. Some of these racer ones look quite fun. Ooh, actually, maybe I'll go for one of these. I like the look of that one. I might get that. See what else there is. What about the actual slipstream sort of racer ones? Slipstream red. Huh. Speedway blue. Speedway pink. Speedway green. One of these speed ones look quite nice actually. I might pick one of these. I think I'll have that one actually. And bingo. 3,000 arcs, yeah, fair enough. See, this one's I put the engine colours to be red. So it's a little bit different again, but that's nice. And my Scarab, I think I'll change the paint job on that also. Okay, paint job. The pulse green is good. I think at the moment, I think I prefer this galvanized cobalt one. Vibrant orange isn't bad either. Vibrant orange, maybe? Yeah, I think so. Open detailing. Yeah. Green, purple. I've got purple on. Make sure that, so I'll keep it for this as well. So yeah, that's fine. That's a pretty good combo, really. I think. Right, I think we've been going for like an hour and 20. This is a pretty good time to take a break, and I will be back very shortly. Pretty good time to get a cup of tea as well, or whatever else you want to do. Back in a moment. Okay, and we're back in the room. We've had a good drink of tea or whatever you've done. It's always nice. I mean, that's what I always do. You can do what the hell you want, of course, but back in Elite in the present. Yeah, I have just had a quick chat with some other Elite commanders who've been downloading the new update, the Odyssey Alpha Phase 2 update, and I'm thinking that I'll do this stream as I intended to, and afterwards that I'll try and download it as quickly as I can and check it out. And if it's stream worthy, as in I can actually get a reasonable frame rate, resolution, etc. out of it, then I will do a bonus stream, and I will let you all know via social media or have your notifications on for this. But as always, with this channel or any other that you like, do follow us. I click on the follow button. It's free and it does help the channels out tremendously. If you really, really like what I do, then please give me a donation. And all of this is in the about section. And yep, follow or donate. I'm very happy to get any of those things. And I'll be grateful to everyone for every little help that they give me. But yeah, it always helps the channels, all the channels on Twitch that you like. It's easy to follow, and that's what I do as well. Every channel that I watch, and click the follow button just to help them out. But yeah, there's a lot of good ones out there, a lot of good ones, and there's a very high standard amongst a lot of Elite streamers. There's obviously the very big ones, and people like Pave Hawker he's just has such an amazing voice. I mean, the guy's stamina is extraordinary. It really is. I don't know how he does it for such long periods of time. It's like, yeah, I can see how you do it for like a little while, but it's like hour upon hour upon hour. It's like, God, this guy really has staying power. It's like, hats off to him. But yeah. Anyhow, back to where we are at the present. Now we've got ourselves ready to be on the move once more. And on the move we shall be. To continue this recent theme of looking for useful materials. Now, one of the good places to do this, now, even to a little secret here. Not secret, but maybe something that isn't like generally known in the game, is one of the best places, if you have the Soul Permit, which you've got to get certain federal rank to access it. Once you have the Soul Access Permit, this is one of the best places to actually get surface materials from. At least in the Horizons game. When it goes to Odyssey, I don't know if this is still going to apply or not, but at the moment, for Horizons, yeah, the Sol system, for whatever reason, by design or by accident, if you go, let's say, for example, to, here we are, Callisto, moon of Jupiter, or Ganymede, one of the other these sort of rocky bodies that are landable within the Sol system, they actually have a higher chance of getting all these wonderful materials. And let's click on another random one to see what they are at the moment. I'm going to look also to see which ones I need for future engineering, which ones I'm low on, especially the sort of grade 4 and 5 sort of materials, or the cracking of rocks and getting all the good stuff out of them with lasers, as the SRV does in the Horizons DLC of Elite Dangerous. And Elite really only came into being a truly sort of three-dimensional space game when that happened. I mean, the original base game is a good game. It's worth having. But once you could start landing on worlds and getting in a little SRV rover and moving around and doing everything that you do, it just became so much more. Yeah, somewhere like this looks quite good. Aerial, that I remember. I'll nominally set course for that, but I'm going to check out which materials I do actually need in the meantime. Let's boost a few turns with the speed. Yeah, the speed and agility is very good. She jumps to the Sol system. Now, before I first jump, I'm going to check which materials I do and do not have. That's data. Make it easier for yourself. Go to Element, and then grade 4, grade 5. see. Yeah, antimony 5, polonium 5, actinium 3. Certainly I'm not doing too badly for Titium. Yeah, I'm low on most of these, so which one should I prioritise? Titium. Lithium possibly, those, but yeah, all of these are very useful, so I'm going to get to the solar system before I actually prioritise which planet is going to get what, but that's what I'm broadly speaking looking for. And greetings to you, anyone who's just joined the channel. I'm Commander Yannick. Some of you may know me, some of you may not, but I hope you enjoy your travels here today with me. Some of you obviously Elite veterans have been around for a long time. Some of you it must be the first time ever seeing Elite and just want to check it out as a game. And yeah, this is a good thing about Twitch or even YouTube streaming. It's a very good way of checking out games that you don't really know, just to get some idea really before you spend your hard-earned cash on whatever the product is. Sometimes you like a DLC to an existing game, suddenly you think that, is it worth me buying this DLC? It's like, all this extra content pack, isn't it? Sometimes it is, but sometimes you just want to get some idea of seeing a real person playing it, in a realistic situation, not just a demo, which is, sometimes demos or even, little YouTube sort of, clips and stuff can be misleading. As we all know, sometimes you've seen a game or a DLC update, etc., and you thought, yeah, this looks really good. And it's just like a sort of adverts or trailers for films. Sometimes it's like it's such edited into ways like they're giving you just the best bits of it, and the rest of it's not that great. And sometimes that can be the way with games and DLCs, even of a game that you already have. The coverage of it or what the description is not exactly what it is. Sometimes it is. It is always giving that sort of extra knowledge, that 3 dimensions. But in Elite's case, it's I think a lot of streamers are a good advert for this. And I mean, I would never pretend in a million years that Elite Dangerous is perfect. It isn't. I don't think any game ever really is perfect, because obviously people's tastes and expectations are sort of different as well. But yeah, it does have its issues. I won't deny that a fraction of a second. But it is a wonderful game overall, and it is a wonderful experience. And even the best thing of all is the wonderful community we have here. Now, I say that is the best thing about Elite, and that is the thing that has actually kept me playing probably longer and more hours. Definitely, I don't know if I'd have stopped playing Elite completely if the community wasn't so amazing, but I definitely would have played it much less frequently, because I'm always kind of drawn to sort of space games anyway, space simulations. But this one, yeah, I mean, some people come for the game, a lot of people come for the game but stay for the community. That's not unknown. Right, here within the solar system, our own solar system, the solar system. Yeah, we, right, for the different grade 4 and 5 elements, I had a quick look through the sort of the known sort of gas giants in the system here, ones that are very familiar to us: Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, how you want to pronounce it, and Neptune, and see the moons of these places and what they have to offer. That one's Ganymede's got some. Yeah, it's got some of the things that I want. Technetium. I might go there. I definitely need some of that. Looking for these other bodies, see if there's one that's got a lot of what I require. Just the highest percentage as well. Because obviously the higher the percentage, the more likely you are going to find what you want from just driving around, really. Okay, I kind of wish trade. There's nothing about the G5, G4 stuff that you can trade them more easily. As in, like, trade them one for another. Yeah, there's not an obvious body at the moment, but I might go to Tethys potentially. Just weighing up the different places. I don't. Obviously, I'll probably go to more than one anyway over time, but let's have a quick look back at the information, what I do and do not have at these grades. Kind of low on yttrium as well. Yeah, I could always do with more of these, I suppose. I might get a grade 3 to the process to see what I got with that. Got plenty of mercury. Yeah, I think I'm going to keep it at grade 4 and 5 actually. Grade 3s I'm fairly okay with. Got plenty of selenium for some reason. Well, a fair amount of selenium. Unless you've got it maxed out, it's never really enough, is it? Engineering tends to eat these things up very quickly. Yeah, I'll try those and see what I can come up with. Actually, even the planet Mercury in the inner solar system may have some useful things. Okay. Thing is, our moon, Luna, is not landable in the Elite Universe for reasons best known to Frontier. But that's just the way it is. It would have been ideal for like the Apollo 11 anniversary to have landed there, but it hasn't happened. Not even now, like 2 years after it still hasn't happened. So I don't know if they ever plan to actually make it landable, to be fair, but we shall see. Time will tell. Yeah, Ganymede looks like a quite good candidate also. Yeah, let's go there. I guess go to Ganymede. And see what I can find myself. Thing is, most ships in Super Cruise, actually virtually every ship in Super Cruise is the same speed. This is the thing. Some are more maneuverable in Super Cruise than others, but the actual raw speed, like a Type 9, is at no disadvantage to, let's say, this, a Courier, in Super Cruise, because it's a very different technology. The space warping, as opposed to, you know, the hot gases coming out of the back of a ship, propelling a ship forward in real space. Which is sort of more conventionally familiar with the spacecraft in real life and in science fiction as well. Not all science fiction uses like space warping technology, but a lot of them do. Okay, we're not too far off Ganymede now. That's the thing about the gas giants of Jupiter and Saturn. Both of them have like mini solar systems of their own, but they've got so many moons. Obviously, some of them even have atmospheres. You know, Titan around Saturn actually has its own atmosphere. That's why the Cassini-Huygens spacecraft sent the Huygens probe into Titan and landed there. It's a fascinating place. Right, there's old Jupiter off to the left. I'll get a closer look at it a little bit later. But for now, concentrating on the world of Ganymede. With these things, finding an appropriate landing site is the first order of business. This is the thing, looking for materials, you're looking for different things as I would be than if I was going out scouting for expeditions or my own personal exploration trips. For collecting materials, I'm ideally looking for as flat a possible site. This is not a particularly flat world though, that's the thing, it's got lots of grooves in it. Canyons. Okay. I want the light side of it ideally so I can see more easily. Go into some kind of orbit of it and then have a good look. Yeah, I'm looking for a flat as possible wide area that I can trundle up and down in my SRV. There's one just up to the left here that looks promising. As always, these things you can never truly tell from orbit exactly what it's going to be like. You can make, you know, an educated guess upon what you're seeing, and hopefully it'll turn out well when you get there. Okay, I think I've spotted one. I'll try this and see what happens. It doesn't have to be a massive area, about a few kilometres by a few kilometres. It's probably a good rule of thumb. It's never hard and fast rules with these places, but yeah, if you can find a flat area and then you just move up and down it, yeah, those are usually the best ones for getting sort of good respawns of materials. Usually found in rocks that you have to blast anyway, so these grooves aren't particularly deep. Probably they always look quite shallow compared to Plamesh, but okay, that's quite an extreme example. Right, yes. Actually, this is not so smooth looking close up, but I think I'll descend anyway. Yeah, I'll just try and put myself down as best I can somewhere here. And so that's all you can do really, just find as smooth an area as you can and hope for the best. Again, it's all like relative smoothness. Okay, nearly gonna enter glide any second now. Cool, here we go. Okay, I better slow down a bit. Okay, now we're a bit nearer. Should be a bit easier to pick up a good landing zone. It's a fairly low gravity world still. Okay. Right, I'm going to hover around here for a little bit, see if I can have a better look. Yeah, this is relatively flat around here. Still 1 kilometre height, so it's going to look smoother than it actually is. Sometimes it's the other way around though. From above it looks really terrible, and then you get down there and think, wonder why was I concerned in the first place? This is fine, but yeah, it should be fine. I mean, fine is in terms of just ease of access to materials I'm talking about, not just going around. Yeah, I'll set down somewhere over here probably. Deliberately reduce my engine thrust. Right, yeah, anywhere around here will be fine, I think. Yeah, sometimes you can overtake the capacity of the landing computer to adapt. So sometimes you have to descend more slowly than the spacecraft could really handle. Well, the spacecraft handle it itself in terms of the impact, just the docking computer, not the landing computer, I should say, does not like it. So to maintain that sort of blue spot, if you want to call it that, or blue alignment for the landing computer, you do have to sort of bring it down gradually sometimes. And we've made contact. Time to get out in the SRB. Yeah, the ubiquitous low gravity warning. Yeah, for a ship, an SRV, this is relatively small, but that's not the problem. So yeah. Okay, as always, if you're looking for materials, it's probably more efficient to try and sort of dismiss your ship, so it doesn't, because that'll act as a radar return. So I'm going to dismiss the ship, and then I'm going to recall it when I need it. See you later, ship. I don't need the main lights on, there's no need at the moment for those. So I will dismiss that. Ship is gone. Right, now I should get some clean scanner images of what I'm looking for. Now, see, this is relatively flat here, he says, crossing his fingers. And I'll move towards this radar image here. See the broad sweeps of it. It'll get more concentrated and more clear the nearer you get to the target. The only thing is with SRV, the opposite of a ship, when you put your cargo scoop out, it doesn't affect the performance at all. The ship, will always slow you down on purpose. Aha. Here we are. We have found a rock waiting to be cracked. And what do we have here? Some pretty bog standard stuff. I think I might even skip those. It's not actually that great. Okay, there's another one over here that I've detected. Sometimes you get good materials in these. Frequently they're just quite ordinary ones. I've got more iron and sulfur than I know what to do with. Zirconium's alright though, I'll take some of that. Yeah, definitely take zirconium. Iron, I think I might already be full up with iron. You only take a certain amount of each particular material anyway. There's only storage for a certain amount of each. Okay, the next place, like we've got a scanner return, it was over here. Yep, a little bit of flying. Oh, I've actually nearly overshot the target here. It came into view pretty rapidly, so there we are. Now these kind of rocks are better than the previous Mesodurite, I think you pronounced that as, yeah. They usually hurt better, but in this case I'm not sure that they have given me good materials. Manganese, nickel I might take. How much manganese have I got on board? Actually I've got a lot of manganese anyway. I don't really need that either. Nickel, yeah. Actually none of this is that useful. I think I can discard those to be fair. Okay, what else have I got? So if it's common material, especially if you're like close to the maximum storage on it and you can find them easily, which you can with all that materials you've just seen. And there's zirconium that's quite useful. But the rest of it, not so much. To crash into a rock, and thankfully I didn't. There's something over here on the scanner. Right, all the fun of driving an SRV on an airless world. See, it's only 0.16 gravity. Yeah, 0.5, sorry. Where's that little bit of thrust necessary to cushion you as you land? Well, that's the theory anyway. It doesn't always work out that way. I always try and crack all of these rocks just in case there's something interesting inside. Sometimes there isn't, but you know. Okay. Just iron and carbon. Yep, that's all that it is, which is not great. Let's have a quick look around to see what else we have. There's some weak returns over here, but they get stronger as they close in. Hope it's not the previous rocks that I cracked in this game. That would be slightly low. Yeah, on these other worlds, if you can fly as far as you can, it's always easier to get around, quicker to get around. It's very easy to skew these vehicles. Whoever did the vehicle dynamics did a great job. Not much grip on the SRV, but then again, a lot of the real world, road vehicles or track vehicles or whatever, wheeled vehicles have kind of similar dynamics to this. It's very easy to skew them sideways. Very strong front forks on these things for some reason. Never worked out why the front should be stronger. I know it might land first, but then again, the rear might land first as well. Okay. Something over here, quite nearby, by the looks of it. It's quite a... See, the actual return is quite concentrated, so it indicates, I think, it's quite nearby. There it is. Yeah, let's have it easier. And we're going to crack it wide open. Actually, I don't really need the shield as much, that's the thing. So it's a combination of the pips of weapons and engines. Okay. What does it contain? Now, this is more like it. Manganese, yeah, that's useful. Now, technetium is where it's at. Grade 5 material, and what I was looking for to start with. Tungsten, I'll take that. Yeah, manganese, it doesn't really matter that much. I think I can leave the manganese. I'm not that bothered by it. Okay, onward to find more things. Just looking around at different points of the compass almost to to kind of scan the returns that I can find. There's some weakish ones over here, so I'll just continue in this direction for a while. See what can be found. There's an art to this with the SRV flying. To have like these short bursts to keep you airborne. But they won't last forever. There'll be a point where you'll run out of energy to return to the surface. It's also the fact that you're not going to get tripped up as much if you're flying. Because obviously flying, the only real sort of problem you have is gravity will bring you down sooner or later when you run out of thrust. Obviously with an SRV in surface contact, you've got boulders and rocks and things that can spin you around or make you fly through the air, basically, and not in a way that you would like. Uncontrolled flight is not such fun. Controlled flight, fine, but uncontrolled flight, yeah, a bit unpredictable. Oh, here it is. I don't expect much from this, but I'll see what I can get from it. Oh, there's another one to the left-hand side. You can see on the scanner. There's a little white dot. Yeah, this seems pretty ordinary. I think I'll skip that for this other one over here. Like I say, with the bronze chondrite, I don't necessarily expect bronzite, I should say. I don't necessarily expect much from them, but yeah, I was checking out just in case. See, this is how the technetium. Do I need nickel? Not really. Got all of that anyway. Okay, with the show. Onward we go. Was that like long initial boost, or fairly long initial boost when you're trying to fly as far as you can, and then smaller boosts? Okay, we've got another return up here. Ahead. Fly as far as you can. Ah, yeah, there it is. So we can shoot from the air. Ah, bingo. I like that. Good shooting. Ah, marksmanship as you're flying. That's the dream. It isn't really, but it's funny. Unfortunately, this rock has nothing of interest. I think phosphorus I've got quite a lot of anyway. So yeah, it's not that useful to me at this time. It's funny if iron and sulfur are like one of the grade 1 materials that I found everywhere, but as I alluded to earlier, it can actually get you some very good initial engineering. It's a step above the sort of A-graded modules. A-type modules, I should say. Right, onwards we go across this dusty surface of this rather grey world. Something I still find quite inspiring about these sort of alien landscapes, even the seemingly lifeless and dull ones. Okay, this almost certainly is lifeless as well, but you know, even then, I still appreciate it. Now that's a stronger return to the right here, so maybe I'll go slightly off to one side. Yeah, see, that's a bit stronger, that return. I think it's more like I try to aim for the middle of the return. It's more likely I'll find my way to the location of the scanned object. And bingo. Flying 1 meter above the ground, and now 4 meters above the ground. Aha. I'm always trying to see what kind of distance I can shoot these things at. It's very easy to shoot them at close quarters, of course. Germanium, that's the main useful substance here. Okay, fair enough. I will keep going. In this direction too. That's the thing, yeah, the SR Beacon can lose grip very easily. You can skew them so easily. And any low gravity world. This has better grip than an ice world, but that's not saying very much. On high gravity world, they do seem to have better grip, just because I suppose the gravity's pulling it into the surface more, and it grips more for that reason. It was a near miss for that large one. Down. Yeah, another one from the air. It's not quite ninja level, but you know, it's pretty good. Manganese, not so much. So there's not much here really in the first place. Okay, let's have a look elsewhere. There's probably one over there. Looks like a very strong return and quite nearby. Not too far away, hopefully. Aha! Okay. Yeah, I tend to prioritize obviously the rarer materials first. Sometimes I don't use the side panel here, I just go straight for what's ahead of me, but that doesn't always work, especially if the material's off to the side. don't think there's anything else here I want to collect. That is okay. Right. Where's the next return? One over here. Yeah, see, we are getting these returns, or good returns, more frequently. And we're actually finding useful materials more frequently than other places. So yeah, if you want to find surface materials, elements particularly, the Sol system is a great place. It's a very good reason to get your Sol permit. It's one of the lower federal ranks, definitely. It's not hard to get. You get it within a day quite easily by doing like delivery missions and similar for the federal military. Because some people think, well, why bother? I mean, there are good reasons. Apart from that, you can see like the hope of humanity in the Sol system. Yeah, there are advantages to it which aren't widely advertised. That's one of them. Well, so the game seems to have temporarily frozen. I think it's temporary anyway. Oh, please don't do this to me. Oh, it hasn't. Oh, it's gone below frame rate now. That was a bit weird. Yeah. Molybdenum. I will take that. Germanium, I will also take happily. Okay. A couple more things I can look for. It's almost a little bit of a fog appears at the edges here. It's not really an atmosphere, but sometimes you get these sort of tenuous, low-level sort of fogs, even on non-atmospheric worlds. Once more into the air, dear friends. This return looks quite near, actually. We should see it quite soon. Oh, there it goes. Oh, there's two of them. Even better. I'll go for this one first. Goodies do you have? Nothing of interest by the looks, which is a shame, but that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. How's everyone doing out there? Hope you're having a fun day. I think I got a lot of nickel already. Yeah, see, it always tells you inventory. I'm literally 3 away from maxing out my inventory, so I don't need any more nickel. Yeah. Carbon, sulfur, iron, I'm pretty much sure they're all maxed out or close to being maxed out in my inventory. So yes, that's definitely having a fairly good trip for getting these planetary materials. Doesn't appear to be any strong returns anywhere nearby. So when you get that, a good tip is to, yeah, keep going in a particular direction, even if there isn't a return there, and hope that you find one afterwards, that someone will appear sooner or later. There's these minor returns to the right, but they're not of the kind that I want. Tend to be ones that are sort of lower, you know, on the scope, they're sort of nearer to the ground, as it were, or lower on the scope. I say there's definitely good articles out there which will show you the different kinds of return for different materials, different kinds of geodes and other sorts of rocks. Yeah, I think I'll keep going forward. If I can't find anything in like 5 minutes or so, I'll probably call it quits. But I probably will within that time, 5 or 10 minutes or something. So far, to be fair, it's been quite a good haul. It's hardly been a wild goose chase, I can say. Oh, there we are. There's one over there. Okay, that's cool. Aim for that one. You see a big rock coming towards you, you think you're going to crash into that, just boost over it. Start flying through the air. It's always the quickest way to avoid it. When you try to turn at speed in SRV, it will frequently just skew sideways. It happens a lot, especially under these low gravity worlds. Yeah, germanium definitely. And we have acquired it. I have acquired it. Not always line of sight, that was beyond the crest of the hill. Phosphorus and manganese. Phosphorus. Yeah, I've got quite a bit of that already. I don't really need much manganese either. Yeah, I think I might take the manganese, but I'll put a chance on it. Yeah. I think I might leave the stream possibly there. Seems like a good time. Actually, maybe, no, I'm going to go into orbit with Jupiter before I end the stream, actually. I'm going to recall the ship. And we're going to have a look at that planet. Because this solar system, surprisingly being a home of humanity, is done a little bit differently to lots of the other ones. And rightly so. The Earth is actually a pretty accurate model of it. Not necessarily as the Earth is now, but as in like a future sort of post-conflict, like World War III global warming kind of model of the Earth. They're actually a fairly optimistic model of global warming by the standards of that view of the Earth in the future. But yeah. Here we are. So that courier come down very quickly. Very powerful thrusters. Landed quite away from me, but I don't mind. It's skewed on landing. Oh, then I've gone flying on a involuntary basis, sorry. Hitting a rock and going flying through the air. See, you've got the return there on the scanner from the ship. Stands out somewhat, that big sort of spike in the centre. That's why I didn't want it interfering with the scans. That's why I dismissed it. Great. Excellent. You can always transfer our cargo if you have any before boarding, but yeah. Okay, back into the ship. Let's go to Jupiter itself. To remove the filters from this. Here we go. Durrance Camp. So there is a settlement on the other side of the world. I'll leave that for now. It's not important. Europa Ice Geyser. It's a tourist beacon. Maybe I'll go there as well. But Jupiter first. Time to leave this world today. Pips to engines. Boost into infinity. Boost upwards into infinity, I should say. Already cleared mass lock. Being a low gravity world, that's not really a surprise. And this thing boosts like MF anyway. to maximum to get outside the gravity well. You see we're very much in the red of the gravity well at the moment, and you see in the centre, the lower centre of the scanner, the world of Ganymede is in red, meaning we're very much still in its gravity well. Damn it, my monitor phone is behaving weirdly. Started making lots of noise all of a sudden. Bear with me for a second while I silence it. Right, here we are. Fly by Ganymede and away from it. And towards Jupiter. Right, we've left the gravity well behind us. You see Ganymede on the scope shrinks to a smaller and smaller sphere, and the other spheres then look of equal size to it, or greater. See, as you approach a gravity well, the image on the scanner will become larger. At the moment, Jupiter's that little grey part at the top of the scanner. Very small ring of Jupiter that exists. Small rings, plural, I should say. Let's approach from the right-hand side. Relative to us, of course. I mean, in space, it's all relative to wherever you are. The planet, relative to the spacecraft, etc., etc. Relative to a star, relative to the galaxy, etc., etc. Different storms and weather systems of Jupiter. I try and fly out the distance approximately of where the ring is, but down from it, as it were, so I can orbit slightly quicker. And Jupiter is real life, and this undoubtedly beautiful place. See its atmosphere there, tenuously. I mean, it's all atmosphere pretty much, isn't it? It's a gas giant, but you see the sort of sunrise over it. There it goes. It's brighter as the sun rises over this very, very large place. Such a huge, huge planet, Jupiter. So massive. Just this big ball of gas. There's speculation that there is some kind of solid core deep, deep into the planet. Obviously you've gone through layers of like metallic hydrogen and some other gases as well. I'll probably stop over the planet in a second just to get a good look at it. Kind of space tourism this in a way, isn't it? Just flying over to get a good look at the place. I don't think I've seen the red spot yet, but I'm going to stop and have a look. External camera. And look around. That's my little courier. And relative to this Titan, well, it was named after Jupiter, king of the gods in the ancient Roman polytheistic religion. It's like Saturn is named after the old Greek god of time and a few other things. Oh, there's another ship over there. Is it a player? Is it a commander, or is it an NPC? It's kind of random otherwise. But look at that, it's just fantastic. I want to identify and see who it is. Oh, it's just a random anaconda, is it? I don't think it's a player. I'll scan them anyway. Search and rescue, what do I say? Yeah, fair enough. I had hoped maybe it was another FleetCom player in this private group. Yeah, I'm fine, I don't need a rescue. I'm just here to look at the gas giant and to have some fun. Cool, right, we'll leave that alone. Now, onwards. FC. Information, what is that? I don't know. I really care actually. Let's go to Europa and the ice geyser there, depending on which side of the Atlantic you come from. When I say Atlantic, I mean Canadian. Sometimes the pronunciation is actually closer to the British, or Irish for that matter, than they actually are to American pronunciation. So it's not always that simple. Shout out to my Canadian listeners out there, and viewers. And there's lots of you. There's a good contingent of Canadians in everything. That's definitely true. I mean, disproportionately large compared to the population of Canada as well. Obviously, there's a huge number of American commanders and German commanders, etc. I mean, Germany's a big country too. Shout out to all those. Shout out to everyone, really. And that's one of the great things about this community is it is genuinely global. Encountered people from Japan, Thailand, Australia, New Zealand, India, Dubai, South Africa, Brazil, Chile. Lots of widespread and sort of interesting places. Genuinely still global community. I know like most players by statistically tend to come from either Europe or North America, but there's definitely lots of players outside those places, maybe more thinly spread, but they are out there, certainly. Yeah, it takes a while to clear the gravitational sort of field of these bigger bodies like gas giants and stars. Natural, really, isn't it? The bigger the gravity, the longer it's going to take you to pull away from it. Well, that is realistic. That is true. I think this within the Elite universe, the Solar System is definitely more interesting to look at than most of the the home of the Empire, the Achenar system. It has, I'm not saying it's dull. It does have some elements of sort of interest in it, but not Sol. But then again, Sol is obviously in real life our own star system, so it's always going to be the case, wasn't it? Yeah, I like the way they've also simulated in the within the sub-solar system and Elite, the Solar System. Oh, we're really overspeeding for this one. I have to gravity brake. Oh. Yep, that's what you do. Get close to a planet to slow down if you're going too quickly, but not close enough so you actually crash into it, or the computer starts an emergency stop and brings you to a halt. That's not what you want. You want to keep the momentum, but control it. Okay, it's the other side of the world. Does anyone... Actually, what's people's view on my recent logo change? I think it looks a bit cooler. The old one was... It's good. I like that, but I like this one more. Ah, excellent. Oh, that's not nice. They literally dumped me straight into the planet itself. And my shield saved me. I'm at 31 hull now. That was not nice at all. Dumped me straight into the ice field itself. That doesn't usually happen, which is very weird. There's a slight bug there, actually. Yeah, the shield's rebuilding itself. Yeah, the shield saved the spacecraft there. The hull is still kind of pretty bad shape at the moment. Well, I'm not far from repair anyway, so that's the main thing. Try and regenerate the shield as quickly as I can before getting on my way. Oh, that was not nice. Not nice at all. Kind of unexpected, to be honest. Because hey, usually you tend to glide, or you immediately disengage at a certain place. You don't tend to get shoved straight into the ground immediately thereof. Oh dear. Okay, the geyser is over there. I'm gonna fly slowly up in that direction, or slower. Give the shield some time to get extra rings. 2 rings at the moment. This is a bi-weave shield, so it tends to generate more quickly than standard shield types do. Okay. A tourist beacon here I can scan. Yeah, there is. Okay. Tell us your tale, tourist beacon. I don't want a delivery contract. You can go away. Right, here we are, tourist spot. Ice geysers, no, there's cryo geysers. That's true. It's a little bit underwhelming. They thought we'd talk maybe a bit more about Europa and where it is, what it is, etc. But yeah, slightly underwhelming. Oh well. It's nice enough. As in the planet's nice enough. So that ship over here somewhere. According to the sensor. Whatever it was, it's gone. It's quickly out of range. Okay. Well, farewell, sensor anomaly. Let's continue the journey. Probably somewhere I can repair the ship, actually. That was nearly fatal. Well, there you go. Truly an adventure. An unexpected crash into an ice shelf. Oh wow, that's fun. Unregistered comms beacon. Maybe I'll check that out. I don't want to do the same thing again. Probably won't do exactly the same thing. What else is there in this part of the system that I can have a look at? There's a few other things, I'm sure. Notable residents, Cradle of Humanity. Yeah, I'll click on some of these other tourist beacons at some point in the future. Maybe that'd be good for the next video. I mean stream, so. Explain to my folks about streaming recently. I think my mum understands fairly well what it is. But, yeah. Nice to have people approve of what we do. But Why they send me a critical message of a mission I'm not even involved in? It's like, seriously, go away. I don't want a delivery contract. If I wanted one, I would ask for one. Okay, let's go to a nearby station. Probably Columbus at Io, isn't it? Yeah, let's do that. Let's go to Io and go to Columbus. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Probably gonna leave this one on Super Cruise Assist because, well, the spacecraft's in a state anyway. I'm gonna look out at Jupiter because it's fun. And here it is. Actually, if you look at the distance, it's Pluto there, but that's a way away. Jupiter itself, passing by the window. Hey, can you imagine like that in real life? Seeing that would be so good. Seeing a gas giant passing your window. Wow, what a thought. Then again, that's part of the reason that people are attracted to these space sims in the first place. It's because you can see places and experiences you could never realistically do otherwise. I mean, even the most like high-ranking achieving astronauts of this era are going to end up either on the moon or at best on Mars within the next 20, 30 years. Anyway, beyond that, you know, we may go other places, but within the next couple of decades or so, it's going to be the moon and it's going to be Mars. Okay. Okay, that was
landing permission granted. Cleared to land on pad 04. Clear for automated approach vectoring.
And yeah, here we go on approach. The docking music always soothes me to some degree. I just said that for last. I do like it, but it's pleasant. Right, I'm going to have to repair this ship, which I never actually intended to do. Okay, that's wonderful. This seems to be a fairly logical place to be ending the stream, which I will do in a moment. But before I do, I'm going to have a quick look around the bay, because I do see interesting things sometimes. I haven't seen it for once in a while. I haven't actually seen any other in-game commanders, even in places like Founders World, which I do usually see one or two other people, even if I don't recognise them. Sometimes I do though. It depends. This looks more an industrial kind of facility, doesn't it? Yeah. It is great though. And there's another ship coming to dock. Uh-huh. Thank you for the follow, Commander. Much appreciated. Yeah, it's the automated announcement. I'm gonna try and get you to fly safe. But then again, on this channel, I always say fly safe or fly dangerous, depending on what suits you. But whatever you do, always have fun. And from this somewhat industrial-looking station here at Columbus, in orbit of the planet Io, well, the moon Io, I should say, I bid you adieu until the next time, which will be tomorrow, unless I can actually get the alpha test to work correctly in the next couple of hours, in which case I will actually come in with a bonus stream, which I will probably be posting on Twitter before I do anything else. But keep your notifications on if you wish to watch it. They say there's no guarantee this will actually sort of happen, but I'm going to say there's a half chance that it will, depending on obviously download times and how things pan out with optimization. But thank you to everybody for watching this stream. And yeah, awesome. And I will see you all in the next one. Till then, fly dangerous, fly safe, or fly whichever way you like.